Toon's just scrounged a lift into town from a nearby friend. She's going to be an hour or two just getting a spare part to fix our Ben-Hur chariot. So while she's out, I thought, Leigh, why not get your backside in gear and do a bit of an update? So today, a quick whiz round and show you what's been going on with the goat herd. Following that, I suppose we'll be doing a bit about the lake, because it's all been smoothed off now, or the majority of it. It's a bit of oil, that gate. Got an update to do for some of the fish that we introduced into the lake a while back. I've already got the footage for that to edit. And what else? And then a bit about our fodder system, because that's what we've been doing for the majority of the last 3 or 4 weeks. Right then, come and have a look at these absolute beauties. Born about an hour ago. Blackie's twin boys. Hey, done well, ain't you, girl, eh? No names for these fellas yet. These won't be staying with us, so Toon and I name the boys normally. But no drama, brilliant birth. As was probably the 2 cutest boys that have ever been born here on the farm. Welcome to the farm. Hula hoop. Actually, Hula, you should be standing over there. It's a bit like Ant and Dec. They've got to be stood in on the right side, otherwise I get confused. But I'll grab these out soon. Underneath there is Owanetta's girl. Most of you know Owanetta. And that is called Hope. She is a lovely girl. Very friendly, as are these two. For those of you that have been following us on our Facebook page, brilliant name, Toon and Leigh Porpeang Farm, Thailand, you'll see that we've had quite a few goats born the last few weeks, the last 2 weeks really. First off was Perfect, and that's the daughter of Slim. Both doing very well, and Slim, unfortunately, Slim has lost one of her horns. It's not lost and she can't find it. She got involved in a bit of a scuffle. Now Slim was one of the goats that we actually purchased when we were struggling to get the herd numbers up. She wasn't the best conditioned goat, because her horns were a little bit bahoo-bahee, and obviously she's took exception to another goat in the herd that's got a bit too close to Perfect, and they've had a bit of a smack, and yeah, it was quite badly damaged, and then a few days later it fell off. I'd imagine it'll grow back to some degree. It's all healed quite quickly, a bit of blood for the first day, and then that was that. No infection. And then Miss Good. We did a very, I think it was about a 4-second video on Facebook. The worst birth ever for out of all the goats that we've had born on the farm, and we've had some horrific ones. Toon worked their magic for a long time, well over half an hour. Got the first girl out. We called her, well, Toon's called her Eater. I don't know what to say about that. And brother came out with his head facing upwards, which is 180 degrees what you normally get. So I call him Twisted. Anyway, by the next morning, because that was a night birth, it became obvious that he was deformed on both of his front legs. Couldn't stand up very well at all. So he was struggling to get the milk, and we were having to put him on his mother's udder for the first day. But it was a struggle, and her mum didn't like that. She'd been fine feeding the girl, but for some reason she was a bit anti him. And then when Toon went to let them out this morning while I was getting the food ready, she came back, and unfortunately he had passed. You know, I think it's, you know, nature selects the strongest sometimes, don't they? Or generally speaking, it does. And Miss Good, the mother, she's had a bit of a rough time as well. She's quite a shy goat. Again, it was a goat that we bought at a bit of a job lot, not the strongest of goats. First time she kidded, fine, no problem. This time, I guess she's lost a little bit of horn, and you know, she'd obviously got involved into a bit of a scuffle. There's no blood or anything, so I believe it was a weak horn to begin with. But she's okay. She's got plenty of milk, as is all the mums. Now at the moment, Owenetta's out on the pasture over there, as is Slim. But apart from Slim's Perfect, Owenetta's kid is staying here. We let her out yesterday, and she fell asleep in the long grass. Took us about half an hour to find her when we let everyone back in to put them away at night. So that was a bit of a panic. So we thought, right, we'll leave it another couple of days. She's over a week old, and normally they're out on pasture sort of like on day 5, day 6. But some do like their kip, and they're sods to the parents sometimes, to the mums. They ignore them, and the mums are going crazy, screaming for them for hours upon hours. But if a kid wants to sleep, irrelevant of mum crying her heart out. So yeah, we're going to give her a couple more days here with Hula and Hoop, and then we'll let her out on pasture. Right, let's get these 2 boys out, Hula Hoop, because they are so cute. I don't know why they like sleeping down there, apart from it being cool. It's on the old dry black jelly beans. Isn't it, Hula? Eh? Hula? You ain't got fleas here? I don't know why, but I don't know about other goats. Our goats have never had a flea or a tick. Quite surprised, really, because certain times of the year the dogs get ticks quite badly. And they've had fleas before. Good boy, aren't you, hey? Look at that. So that is Brownie's granddaughter. It's Owenetta's Brownie's daughter. She's a beauty. Very similar in the face. Gonna be a big lass, that one. You're a good girl, Blackie, ain't you, eh? Good girl. You'll see Blackie's got what I call the neck nads, 2 dangly bits in the neck. One of the lads he's got 1 neck nad, and the other boy hasn't got any. Excellent video, black goats in a dark room. A good vlogger wouldn't do that, would they? As far as the overall health goes for the herd, no dramas at all. Everyone's super fit and healthy. A couple of the mums are a little bit skinny because their kids are absolutely caning them for the milk, and it is coming around the time that we're going to let the boys go, or the majority of them. We've got a choice of potentially 4 really good bucklings. We want to keep hold of at least 1, and we're just not sure who it's going to be. I particularly like Bear, as he's the most friendly. I think he's the 3rd biggest one. He's got a good temperament, so he's going to be a little bit easier hopefully for Toon to handle in the future. Whereas we've got 2 absolute units in Sargai and 4, a little bit bigger than Bear. 4 is very shy, which you think, oh well, that might be quite good, but you know, if a goat is shy and you try and get hands on, sometimes they can freak out a bit. And Sergei, he's a bit of a brute, as well as being big. I wouldn't say he's got a bit of a temper because he's still quite young, but he potentially might be a bit of a handful for Toon. And then we've got really a choice of 2 that look like a bullseye. The most beautiful one is Jonah. Not a bad temperament at all, but he's not quite as big as Shadow, which is Onesie's kid, and he's a strapping lad. Again, I don't know, because we're just, I don't know, we've got a meat goat herd. They don't have to look like Kalaharis, you know. I suppose if we were going to be going 100%, you know, pure breed or something like that, then yeah, we might go down the route of, you know, one that looks absolutely perfect coloration and, you know, with the way the horns are formed. But yeah, at the moment, my money's on Bear. So he likes his stroke like his dad, so it's nice to have a friendly, close bond with the bucks as they get quite big, because they're powerful animals, and if you get one that's a bit of an arse, you know, I'm all right, but Toon, you know, she's smaller than a full-size buck, so yeah, it's a bit of a handful for her if they get out of hand. And it might not be that they've got a bad temperament necessarily, but they might look at Toon and think, hang on a minute, you're down the pecking order, love, so you know, get out my way. Yeah, we do have to be careful about that, because one hit, you know, if you're not looking, one hit is bad news. Or certainly when you're kneeling down doing something and, you know, you don't see them coming from the corner of your eye, if they're going to challenge, the challenge with the head, and I'm not saying they can kill you, I'm sure they can, but you know, they can certainly do some damage and knock you out or break your back, something like that. So yeah, it's one thing that you soon learn with goats, the ones you can trust and the ones you can't. I can trust Bullseye, and sometimes they're just playing, you know, they like to push against you and have a bit of a wrestle, but we just got to be careful. You can see my Leukina piles from a biochar I've got well out of hand. I think this is a new record now. I probably need to do about half a dozen burns, but I just have not got time. And I suppose we're about 2/3 of the way of doing our fodder system, getting the Napier grass in. Also been growing some corn as well. Corn for us, corn for the goats, and corn for the fish. Been growing some black sugar cane and some Leukina. I put about a dozen banana trees in as well, and we are forecast for some more heavy rain. So what we try to do with the Napier is get all the sticks ready, all the cuttings ready, and then soon as we've had the big downpour, I can go around and I can just push them into the soil every foot apart or so. If not, I had to be digging bloody holes for them. The tractor in has not been great, and it's all right where Macro Man came and did it, but yeah, the rest of it, not that impressed. So unless the soil's nice and damp, can't get the Napier cuttings in, so it's hard going. That is the only reason that I've not been able to do the videos. It's every time it rains, you just have to keep on going and going and going until the soil dries out, and then you're like, no, that's too hard now. Okay, now we're going to get some more Napier. We shred it for the goats, and then the sticks that are left, Toon cleans them up and then chops them into bits ready for me to plant them. So it's stockpiling that when the soil's, you know, dry and hard. Just in readiness for us to go again. I would estimate probably got 3,000 or 4,000 cuttings in at the moment. You might well say, well, you just get some help, Leigh. Well, we did try, and the first morning of trying with someone, when broke for lunch, just said, oh, thanks for coming, you know, don't come back after lunch. But Toon's a bit more tactful than that. I know sometimes she's a bit blunt, but no, she did put it tactfully, as best she could. And I still haven't put right what they've done. You know, they're just, I know it's our job. It's, you know, it's in the heat, and anyone that's not used to doing the farm work, then it's too big an ask sometimes. And yeah, so unfortunately they only got half a day's pay. The tractor in, yeah, the first time we got that done, all well and good. We thought, yeah, that's all right. Went to push them in, and just hadn't tilled it right, and so we had to. I was digging the holes for that, and then had to wait for Macro Man to come back to smooth all around the lake and on the island. And then before we left, we're like, just stick the tractor in there and do it properly for us, mate. As soon as I'd done that, bang, 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 push them all in. But it's dry again now, so We were due some rain last night. It looked like we were going to get full on storm, but we got a giant wind and just a smattering of rain. But for the next few days, yeah, mate, you can feel it in the air. You can feel the moisture in the air, the humidity, and it's red hot. And when you sweat, it doesn't dry at all. So that's normally a sign that the big rain's on the way. Amazing dry season, really amazing. You know, to think only a couple of years ago we had 6 months without a drop. We had the big thunder, the electrical storms, but no rain, not one mini downpour or shower or anything. Whereas this year, you know, it seems to be every 2 or 3 weeks we get a bit of a deluge. So it's great. The lake's pretty much stabilised. I think we're now at the, I wouldn't say optimum height, but probably the average height for over the year. But we'll have to wait and see. I think it's nicely hydrated after the dam breaking event last year. Just to wrap up with the goats then, as far as the other herd members go, we're about another week or two the boys are going to get sold on. We've got 4 girls going. They were from the first batch of the new round of goat births that was over the festive period. So we've got a lovely gentleman Trent coming up in another couple of weeks for them. Hopefully my mulberry cuttings have rooted for him, because he's going to have a few of those offers as well. There's 3 other expectant nannies anytime now. So there were 4, but Blackie's dropped that down to 3 now. We've got young Heidi, she's due any time, so my mum Fran will be on tender hooks. She'll be all right, I'm sure, Fran. Who else have we got? Tattoo, who's a beautiful goat, and she's not kidded before. She was quite ill the other year from parasites. We nearly lost her, but she picked up, put the weight back on, and she's had, touch wood, she's had a lovely pregnancy so far. And who else? One more. Oh dear. Heidi, Tattoo. I think I've been working too hard. Right then, I'm gonna have a wee drinky booze, rehydrate myself, and I've got to go and put some more corn in. Hey, my corn's coming up, you know. It's only been in less than a week. Loads of it, loads of it. And these giant ones as well, if I've grown it right. Oh, take care, and we'll see you again soon.